Today we will be watching a Terrance Howard interview on the Joe Rogan podcast, an actor turned into a scientist. Even though spectators have been criticizing him for his ideas on math and Mother Nature, and the universe from a whole new eye view of science, he has not given up. He seems to be going harder and stronger. So let's begin.
Your first memory in life, what would it be?
I don't think I know.
My first memory was almost like when you're dreaming and you're falling and you hit the bottom and you wake up.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first memory, but I didn't wake up here. I was inside my mother's womb. And I was about maybe 6 months inside the womb. And I'm like, okay, don't forget I'm here. Okay. Don't forget. You go to sleep. Wake up again. Now something's moving in front of you. And you're like, oh, that's my friend. But I had a different name for it. I didn't know it was my hand. But I knew I had a title for it. Go back to sleep, all of those things. Then ultimately you get ready to come out. I remember all of that.
You remember coming out?
Remember being compressed, and you want to panic, but you're flooded with like some serotonin and dopamine to where you feel relaxed. You go right back to sleep. You remember being born. I remember being circumcised. I remember the whole nine. And I had access to it. And I knew the relationship.
You saw this in dreams?
I saw it as a circle. Everything was a full circle laid out. And each area was just expanding, like wrapping a rag around your hand. The first wrap, it's so tight. The very first wrap is so tight. That's the first one that Walter Russell did. Yeah, but go back to the wiggly one. This is how I saw it more so, but as a vortex. But you'll see there's a relationship between hydrogen, carbon, silicon, cobalt, rhodium. They're all bonded. They're all sit as the middle point between two noble gases. So those things don't really exist. They were misled by Newton, who said everything moves in a straight line unless affected by something else. And we know that not to be true. But they built the entire two-dimensional plane, the Euclidean space that we live on, that we work on, that we try and define curved nature by two-dimensional space. And we never include the curvature, the breathing in. Like Alan Watts said, no one would be attracted to a Euclidean woman because she would just be straight, all straight lines. It's the wiggliness, it's the curvature that brings the balance. Everything has to have the balance. The electric side and the magnetic side. I can talk about it, but I can show you Walter Russell's work because he didn't include any equations inside of it. He talked philosophically regarding how things behave in comparison to laying down and following some Newtonian or calculus writing. He said he based things based on let's explore them naturally. And that's what I did with my book. Once what Walter Russell was missing, he didn't have the wave conjugations. He didn't have the mirror shapes, the all shapes. And that was because of a mistake that was made 6,000. The people that our entire world economy is based off of the politicians and the authorities that give the politicians their accreditation. And those authorities, those universities are all based, their entire curriculum is based off the Platonic solids. And our world economy is based off of 1 × 1 = 1.
So you think they fuck with your phone?
Oh, I'm sure, because now I have to turn it off.
Do you ever drop your phone? You ever drop your phone?
I've dropped my phone a number of times, but...
You ever think that might be what's going on with your phone?
And then I buy another phone, and the same thing happens. I'm 5
you get
minutes...
burners?
I used to, but then my wife would think I was cheating.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I don't need that.
It expands as a sphere, and no sphere in our universe, no bubble has a solid core. We're perceiving it as a solid core, but there's not a solid core there. There's just a bubble. And at CERN, that Hadron Collider, that particle accelerator, I believe they did the same thing, and they popped their planet. And it became that asteroid belt.
Really?
Just take it, if you add up all of the weight of the mass of those of the asteroids in the asteroid belt, it will probably equal the same mass as that of Mars. You know?
The government,
they do not want you. We're about to kill gravity. We're about to kill their god, gravity, and they don't want that.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's every time I'm shrinking in this video, it's just like it doesn't like to do this.
Huh?
I don't know what's going on.
Is it the codec?
I have no control over the computer. Alt tab does nothing. Escape does nothing.
Yo.
Spacebar does nothing.
Maybe you dropped your computer.
Maybe you dropped your computer, Jamie.
I'm gonna try to again.
But Jamie, you need a burner computer.
Yeah, they don't want their god killed. Gravity has been the thing they've been holding on to from the beginning, and it's just an effect of electricity.
Before we do that, can you tell me how a planet is formed under this theory? So you have a sun, and how does the sun give birth to these planets?
The same way we defecate and have gas, like Jupiter's that red spot on Jupiter, that's spinning on it. That's going to become a moon. It may take a billion or 2 billion years. That will ultimately become a moon off of Jupiter. Where is it? Right at the equator. Where do we discharge at? Right at our equator. And then it will rotate its way around and slowly be pushed out by the solar wind by Jupiter.
So like coronal mass ejections.
Coronal mass ejections.
So some kind of ejection of matter leaves the sun, and over billions and billions of years, enough of it collects, and there's enough of a force
to where ultimately that coalescing idea that they have, merging virtual reality. It says merging virtual reality with reality. Go down, patents and files, the very first one, tap on that. So you go look over to, you'll see my name, inventor, Terrance Howard. Worldwide application, and let's just read the abstract just so they'll...
System and method for merging virtual reality and reality. Scroll it so I can see it. To provide an enhanced sensory experience. A system and method of merging virtual reality sensory detail from a remote site into a room environment at a local site. The system preferably includes at least one image server, a plurality of image collection devices, a display system comprising display devices, a control unit, digital processor, and a viewer position detector. The control unit preferably receives the viewer position information, transmits instructions to the digital processor. The digital processor preferably processes source data representing an aggregated field of view from the image capturing devices in accordance with the instructions received from the control unit, and outputs the refined data representing a desired display view to be displayed on one or more display devices, wherein the viewer position detector dynamically determines the position of the viewer in the room environment and changes the desired display view corresponding to position changes of the viewer.
Now you see
this is all you.
Yeah, this look at the inventor. Go up a little bit and slide over. It says Terrance Howard. It's the end of Schrodinger's equation. It's the end of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. And I'm ready to have the debate at any university. Anytime they want to. But they have no comeback for it because I have 4 supersymmetrical systems, and that's the thing about geometry. Geometry is its own proof. Supersymmetry is its own proof, whereas equations, anybody can have an equation. And only certain people can try and understand it, and it can be fudged with renormalization, where anytime they have an infinity, they renormalize it. That's why Dyson left the whole group back in the 1940s when they were talking about quantum electrodynamics. And Feynman said it himself, with this renormalization, is that real physics? Is this real math? All of them recognize that this is fudging because they had went the wrong direction by taking the ether out of the equation, and now I have proof of the ether and how it behaves.
Wow. I wish I could really truly understand exactly what you're saying, because I'm kind of getting it and you're doing a great job explaining it. But if you're right, that really changes everything.
Everything.
And it accounts for why physics kind of hits a stalling point.
Gotten to at that point. And she was like, this is what you'll be remembered for. And your acting will be just a footnote. And, you know, she nursed me back to life because I was angry. I was really angry. And I was going to use all of the knowledge that I had, and I was going to destroy mankind.
Oh my God, right out of Marvel.
Even though they are laughing, Kanye West said it best not one man should have all that power. But Terrance Howard seems really sincere in his thoughts, and words of him talking about his mistakes he made with his wife, and how mad he was at the world and the industry for abandoning him and kicking him to the curb, is very noble to admit to the world. And I am not a scientist, but his logic seems make a whole lot of sense to me. And at the end of the day, he sounds like he just wants to change the world and help all of us save our world. This last part proved that to me.
When we feel G-force, like when you're have you ever flown in a fighter jet before?
Yeah.
You feel those insane G-forces. Like, what that is the resistance of the Earth itself.
Of the Earth.
Of the spin of the Earth itself.
Of our centripetal place where we are with the... Remember, the Earth is spinning.
Uh-huh.
The solar system is spinning and acting a force. The galaxy is spinning and acting on it.
So
and now the
all
planet
these forces
is pushing
down.
in. So if you decouple from them...
Then you have no force pushing you through, and you can essentially travel instantaneously to anywhere if you have the right frequency.
The right frequency. It's all frequency. It's all frequency. And the right angles of incidence. You can't get there with Cartesian space or Euclidean 90 degrees, 45 degree things. You cannot get there. You have to have the truth. And that's why I think I was given all of these things. It's like, hey, let's stop destroying the planet. You don't need oil to do all of the things you're doing.
Please let me know what you think in the comments. And please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.